Okay, I'd like to welcome you all to the Earth Day meeting of the Katuitt Water Commissioners. In attendance, we have all three commissioners, Robinson, Sherbuck, and Horsley, along with Water Superintendent Chris Wiseman and Business Manager Jen Nash. We have some people on Zoom, and what we'd like to do is to invite anybody who would like to speak during our public comments session. I did encourage the team working with the district on the school redevelopment. If they wanted to talk now, they could, and go have a leisurely dinner instead of hanging out. So
I appreciate it.
Please.
So I'd like to do a quick introduction and about who I am, who I'm with, and then what we're doing for Katuitt. I'm Joe Sullivan. I'm a project executive for Left Field. We're the owner's project managing firm that was hired by Katuitt to oversee the demolition of the Katuitt Elementary School project. And not only the abatement, demolition, and restoration of the grounds in that area. The whole reason and the sole purpose of why I wanted to make sure that we were in attendance is that we've actually done the procurement and bidding. We've selected a general contractor to perform the abatement and demo project, as well as the planting arrangements based on the specifications and plans. The work should begin within the next 10 days. We put a 10-day notification to the state for the abatement aspect of it. The first 4 to 5 weeks is mostly internal abatement of any of the hazmat within the school. That could be anything from VCT tile to any type of asbestos around piping and or window caulking around the building. At that point, once we have a clearance, we can get a demolition permit, and then selectively portions of the building would be taken down. What I'm here in front of the committee about is that for a short-term temporary use, we'd like to utilize a backflow preventer and a meter on the hydrant out front, just for the sole purpose is during the demo, we like to keep the dust down, and we just lightly keep a spray on it during the activities. But we also are going to put together, because the planting season typically runs from April 15th to June 15th, in the event that they're planted around the borderline of, the ideal situation, we would put in an allowance to be able to fill the water bags around the trees and some of the plantings for short-term use until they're established. So that's the whole purpose of the reason why I'm here, to try to explain that to you, and what the intent of the backflow preventer and the water meter would be used for.
Okay, thanks. Chris, have you talked with them about that?
I did talk to Taylor a little bit about this. We do have a meter set up with a backflow preventer inside it at the 2-inch. I don't know if you guys plan on cutting and capping that before the demolition.
No, we are not. So in fact, that hydrant calls to stay live. So that hydrant that comes onto the property will remain. The water will be cut and capped from the street to the curb line of the property.
That hydrant does feed that property. There's a line that feeds. There's a 6-inch line that goes to that hydrant. It knocks down afterwards, reduces down to a 4-inch, and the
Correct.
4-inch goes in. The 4-inch I have turned off 3 years ago. When I talked with Kayla 2 days ago, she told me the water is still on inside the school. I don't know if that's residual that's in there.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't. There's no, I know there's probably, my gut feeling is a lot of the fixtures are broken from vandalism that happened. I'd be shocked if the water's still on in that building.
All right. She said
I can double check that, but if there's any water in it, I would agree with you. It's probably residual.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then it's not a problem. But I still would like it cut and capped, just in case they hook it while they're tearing up.
Yeah, I would agree.
foundation.
Yeah, we will. So it'll be cut and capped after the hydrant, where it goes from the 6 inch to the 4 inch. It'll probably be cut and capped at the 4 inch.
Okay, that's agreeable. I don't have a problem doing the other way, as long as I can either teach or have somebody who is experienced with a hydrant, turning it off and on each day.
Yep, and actually, what I would propose and I would strongly recommend and I'll mandate is that the general contractor, our team and you will, meet on site, go through that process. And what I'd like to do is have them, you're going to be taking your own readings, but we're going to document on a daily basis, the usage of water and who's taking responsibility for turning it on and off.
Okay,
So you have a running
that's
record.
fine with me. Yeah.
Joe, I have a question for you, Mr. Chair, if I may. There's an oil tank there, I believe. Is that right? And
What was the question again?
There's an oil tank there, heating oil tank?
Yeah, actually, there's a tank on the rear of the property. The contractor is responsible for, any abatement or remediation of that. So they would be responsible to have some company, if there's any residual in there, to pump it out. I believe it had been emptied at one point, but there is always, I call it the mud settlement on the bottom. They're ultimately responsible for cleaning the tank before they excavate it and remove it.
All right, and will we get some sort of a report confirming that
Yeah.
was taken out with no
There's
residual?
actually the DEP requires that. So after the tank is done, the soil is examined around that tank area to make sure there's no mitigation of any, oil loss in that. And then the tank has to be certified before it's disposed of.
Hey, can you make sure we get copies of that?
Oh,
in
yeah,
addition to
absolutely.
DEP? Thank you.
Absolutely.
I see Carol's here. She has her hand up, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Commissioner Trubeck has any comments or questions.
I don't. I had one more just to ask.
Chris.
That heating system that's down there, is wrapped. It looks to me like it's asbestos wrapped. Is it, do you know, and will there be somebody on site for that?
Yeah, so as I was discussing earlier, prior to touching anything down there, everything has to be abated. So so we'll have an abatement contractor, but we also have a monitoring company that'll be monitoring the air quality and the removal process to make sure they're staying within the EPA guidelines.
All right, thank you.
Carol, did you have a comment?
Hi, I'm just checking in to let you know that I will be covering your monthly meetings during this quarter for the Civic Association. So
Okay,
just good to see you all.
yeah. Do you have any questions about the school demo for us?
No, the only question I had about the hydrant is, are you also talking to the fire commissioners and the fire chief about what you're doing with that hydrant?
We've already communicated it with them. We had a meeting last night and they were present during our presentation to the fire district.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
all.
Thank you.
And part of our process anyway is we have a kickoff meeting with all of the entities prior to any use of the hydrant and abatement and demo. So we've had a kickoff meeting with the general contractor, but once they mobilize, we'll have a meeting with the local disciplines down there to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Sounds good. I think communication is the key, and it sounds like you've got that covered.
Yeah, I've
And
done a few of these now, so it makes it a little easier.
just my one anecdote is I was in an elementary school built in 1910. And in the hallway of the basement between the cafeteria and the auditorium, there were pipes. And you could run your fingernail along the fabric of the pipes and pull out this white stuff.
Hey, no, back then it didn't hurt anybody, right? Now it's killing everybody.
There were long gouges along the whole length of the pipe.
Oh, that's
It
too
was
funny.
about at hip level.
Nice.
So I had to go up to Canada one time, and where asbestos is actually made in Canada, the year round the ground surface is asbestos material. It looks like it snowed in that town as you go through because it comes from the ground. They excavate it and process it that way. It's crazy.
Okay. Thanks very much. We're going to
Thank you.
continue on. Anything else?
No,
All set?
I'm good, and I appreciate, you taking the time and working with the district on having the building down and the use of the water. I appreciate it again.
Thank you.
All right, have a
Okay,
great day.
we'll move on to our water quality report, Superintendent.
All right, we had no total coliform detections during the month. We did receive our PFAS results, which you guys have in your packet. A little higher than they've been, that's for sure. I'm actually testing again tomorrow. That's the required, we do it in April for DEP's requirements, we do the other time for our own requirements. So we'll be waiting on that. It's kind of like a good follow-up to this anyways. This was done in February and I didn't get the results till a week ago. So it takes a couple months to get the results. But we can get it done in Barnstable at least now.
I think it's funny, the well 3, which is in the village surrounded by houses, it's almost always non-detected.
It's never had a detection. No.
Yeah, so I guess if I may, I was talking to Chris before. I can't keep track of the standards or compare these numbers to. This is PFAS 6. The person and I were talking about, there's PFOA, there's PFOX, there's 2 or 3 different, and they each have their own standards. I was gonna suggest that we add a little table on this chart that we can compare these to each time. To state the standards, as one suggestion, but yeah, I remain somewhat concerned that we continue to find these at low levels. I understand these things are, everywhere, but I do, I think it's something we need to keep focused on. So I'm glad we're doing the extra sampling. But Chris, could you just reiterate maybe where these numbers relate to, what you think the standards are?
Yeah, right now, the state standard is 20 parts per trillion.
Trillion,
Yeah.
yep.
So that if the PFAS 6 has a combined of 20, then we're in violation. Right now, that's the law. EPA is trying to change it so that if certain ones are above 4, and at the station, then they are in violations. So it has to be a certain one, like I think it's PFOA. And I just had it here, PFOA and PFOS, I think are the 2. And then there's a combination, there's one that has to, if it's above 10, you're in violation. And then there's a hazard index of all of these with a mathematical figure, that has some of the unregulated in it also. That is EPA's new recommendation from 4 years ago. I think.
So is the PFOA, in your understanding, part of the PFAS 6?
Yes. I wish they brought a result with me. PFAS 6 is PFOA, PFOS, PFAS, something to that effect, and the 6 of them that are considered regulated. Then you have about 30 that are unregulated.
So do we know of PFAS, what's reported here in this table is the PFAS 6, which is the combined all of them.
Correct.
Do our results tell us how much PFOA we have?
Yes, each one, that's a combination that we put up there. That's in the beginning, that's how we were reporting to DEP. That's how we were reporting to everybody here. It's changing now a little bit. If you want, it's gonna take a little more work, but we could put up the PFAS 6 or the area and say which one has which, how much, because that 4 that you see there.
Yeah.
That is
4.7.
3 different PFAS.
Right.
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to
regulation,
figure out is if the PFOA recommendation is 4.
Yeah, and it was
How
like
much of the 4.7?
like a 1.85 or something like that is what we had, and they actually have to be over a certain detection to actually be put in.
I understand.
Yeah.
I think it might be good just to kind of track it in a little more detail than if there are EPA recommended standards on sub components
Yep.
here. just be, I'm not trying to make more work, but I think this is something we just gotta stay on top of, so. I, for one, would just like to see a little more detailed breakdown of like the PFOA part relative to the EPA recommended standard, if that's.
You wanna see both state and EPA, or just the EPA?
Well, this
It's
is,
pretty simple. The state one will be easy. It's just for me to
Yeah.
put up the titles of the six.
well,
that are
maybe,
Regulated.
maybe through you, Mr. Chairman, I don't wanna make unnecessary work here, but maybe. You and I could talk more about this offline and
Yeah.
talk about what.
Yeah, I can
Bring
send you the
here.
regulations and stuff like that.
I just wanna make sure we're staying on top of this as detailed as we can, that's all. Thank you.
I'd like to see a graph now that we have 10 different results. So has time. And the parts per trillion. So, you know, some of it might look like this.
Yeah.
But for each of the wells, I think. Now that we have 10 results for each well, it's hard to summarize it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mr. Chairman, I did graph it a year ago. I'll up
Okay,
and send that.
Love it.
thank you. And maybe, David, if you, I think we did this with sodium once, but if you had those limits that.
Yeah, the MCL, I'll do the state and the.
So we can see if. Any of the peaks, their problems. Okay. What else besides PFAS? It's interesting on the radio yesterday, they were talking about this at the fire training academy. And the radio host kept calling them PFAs.
PFAs.
Like it was a plural, PFAs.
ECVs.
Right. Okay, so what else? Anything else, Chris, on water quality?
Not on the water quality.
We can go into your superintendent's report.
All right, superintendent's report. In February of 2025, we pumped 6,954,000 gallons of water. In February of 2026, we pumped 6,229,000 gallons of water, for a decrease of 725,000 gallons.
So you said February, you meant March.
Right. That's right. I did mean March.
That's fine.
And I sit corrected.
Okay.
As you know, I attended some classes at New England Conference. Went there, had some classes, talked to some people. Actually talked a little with the different associations that were there. They did something weird this year. They stuck them in a different room because apparently they get their tables for free. So they wanted to get the things, so they put them in a totally different room than where the conference was. But I actually met today with the new training director for Mass Rural Water. She came, she's been on the Cape for a little while, and she came in and spent a couple hours talking the system to see if there's anything she could help with, anything that would be possible for training that would be helpful and everything. They're always willing to help. And saw Bruce up there, Young, and everybody, and you know, they're great. And the new guy is actually taking a class through Mass Water Works, a Zoom class for introduction to water for his new tests. Other than that, everybody else is just, you know, they're offering classes and stuff like that. We had no new or replacement services put in March. We didn't have any leaks in March. We did receive two different checks for the PFAS lawsuit that we're in. One from FICO for $29,058.62, and one from BASF for $12,095.61. So that, along with the DuPont money and the 3M money, Right now, we have in that fund $234,421.25. Still expecting more money to come. I believe it was 3M. No, excuse me, DuPont that has to pay us a couple of years, then they pay us for 10 years, so much money. Every
This is
year.
a national settlement?
Yeah, it's anybody that got into class action suit. They're the same company, part of the same company that, we got our MTV, money from. Let's see, Sole Source, we're having Station 5, done from Tom Camberary.
Yep.
He sent me an email last week. And I was looking for something, no, excuse me, this week, Monday it was in there. He sent it on Monday and I looked at it. He was asking for the original flow tests from Station 5 and the prolonged flow test. And he actually named the one that was named. And I was looking for something in the office today and I'm going through I'm like, what's this? Picked it up and it's the exact thing he was asking for. So finish the model before he runs the model. So I called him up, said, it's here, come pick it up. You know, you can have it. He didn't answer the phone and he didn't come. So I don't know if he's around right now.
They had to put their daughter's dog down today.
Oh,
He wasn't thinking about well 5.
gotcha. All right.
I have a little granddaughter, so.
But yeah, he is on that right now. So he's still going on it.
Okay.
Once he gets his report, I think that's all he's really waiting for.
Can you ask him to verify the location of the wastewater discharge from, was it Katuitt Meadows or was it from the other development we're talking about?
We know where that,
Scratch your phones.
Well, we have,
we know where that is. We know where the station is.
they moved it outside the zone.
Yeah, I
too,
know.
right?
It's right, if you drive in, it's right on the left. It's like it looks like a long, field, a driveway with some pipes in it.
I just want to make sure we have that correct in the map, 'cause I remember there was.
It was correct on the map
discussion.
before,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I don't know if you guys remember Bill Calder. He was the gentleman that,
Yeah.
came in, we had fined him $1,000 and he said, no, my plumber just
Yeah,
put that piece of pipe in there to
Yeah.
use water and to get it to do it, and we had all that discussion. He was supposed to come back here to us after we got we talked to our council. He gave us his opinion and he was gonna come back here and talk to us about it, and he's never been back. Our council said, it's right, but I can't help you in the future because I also work for this gentleman. I have done work for him, so I have a conflict of interest. I got an email from him last week, I believe it was, saying, I know it's coming up that it should be due and everything else. So how about if I donate $500 to a local charity of the water department's choice, and we can call it even. And I said, that's not, I sent him back, I said, that's not my call. So I said, that's not my call, and then if you wanted to jump on today to talk to anybody.
you mean this, so he's proposing this as opposed to paying? the
Yeah.
fine?
Yeah, because he said, instead of going to litigation, he said, because it's gonna cost.
He's paid his bill, but not the fine, and continues to pay his bill, but not.
So I
the
would
fine.
suggest we
He
write
will
back to him
hear
and
on
say,
the-
no.
I did, I said, not my call, you know, if you want to discuss it with the commissioners, we're meeting tomorrow. The following meeting, we're probably gonna put out a lien list, and that bill is gonna be put on the lien list. So,
It's amazing.
you want to, go ahead.
He was supposed to
Well, we-
bring us his plumber's license.
Yeah, we were asking for more information and he never did.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll have
well,
to look back in the record and everything what it was, but
we
I
tried
believe
to
he was gonna have something from his,
I was the one giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And now I feel a burn.
Mm.
And the fine is established by the state, correct?
Correct.
As a state law.
it is a state law, but it's a determination by us. You know, we're the ones
Who enforces it.
yeah, and we are backed up by the state law.
So the fact that he didn't produce the plumber's license means that maybe the plumber didn't have a license or he didn't
Right.
bother. Because he'd rather just take us to court or something, I don't know, over $1,000.
How much is it? How much do they owe us?
$1,000 fine.
I'm sorry?
It's $1,000 fine.
Not gonna go to
So
court.
he's proposing happening.
And,
That
but,
we donate 500 and he donates 500 to a
no,
charity,
I, wasn't just him.
which we can't do.
Yeah.
We can't legally do.
Yeah,
Well, that's,
I thought he just donated, he was donating 500. I'm like, so you also get a tax break?
Right?
Sounds like the art of the deal to me.
Right.
Lastly, I have on here, it's really, you're probably gonna just hear about it. The chief called me the other day and said, have you heard about this Run Ruck Challenge that's gonna be going through your well field? And I said, what? He goes, yeah, they proposed, somebody had sent him a safety plan, just start at Lowell Park and run down Old Post, down by
They
Station
wear the
5.
backpacks. and
Yeah, well, you get that.
Service.
Yeah, and you run down the road and you go over that big old, brush picket trail, they run around and come back out, then run back up to Lowell Park. It's a 5K, I guess. And I said, well, that would have been nice to know if somebody would approach me on that. Because I'd say, no, I don't want anybody in there. It's private property. You're gonna be in there, they're doing a 5K, 10K, or 6-hour challenge. And I said, what happens if I have an emergency in there to do something? And you got 6 hours of people running around.
So, that's what the West Barnstable Conservation Area would be perfect for.
Yeah, there you go.
We've got 13 miles of trails out there.
There you go.
Why is it
This is
specific to
some
Katuah?
young, there's an association that does it around Cape Cod, and they wanted to do one on Cape Cod here. And I talked to, first I called our insurance agent and said, what would I have to require if I said yes? You need a certificate to show an old harm policy, a few different things. He says, besides that, he said, you might have to keep personnel out there if they're gonna be running through your property. He says, who's gonna pay your personnel to be out there? He said, the fire department's gonna have to keep somebody out there so that if there's any falling, if they have to open up to get people inside. They went through the whole thing. So,
I've seen them
said-
running on streets. They don't have to run through the woods.
no,
The
they're telling,
big ruck race is this Friday and they'll be running down the streets Friday morning.
yeah.
This was a
So
small.
this is something that the woman has proposed, and he said, I would tell you to call the prevention committee and put it on their backs. So I called up, Mark Lynch today and I said, Mark, I don't want it to happen. The insurance agency said, I don't want it to happen. So I'm telling you, this is what he goes, well, I would refer it right back to you guys and say, no, I don't want it to happen.
So are they doing it?
No, they have to ask permission. Basically, they're asking permission. I'm gonna say no. I just wanted to just keep you guys, somebody came to you and said, geez, you guys are mean for not
Why
letting
did
us
they
run
say
through your well field. It's because of liability. Insurance is everything.
you do tend to get a little urine diversion too.
You know what I found out though about this, is that, those trails out there all have names.
Hmm.
And I said, how did, the chief told me that, and he says, well, sometimes when I get on my mountain bike, he says, and I go to the mountain bike trails, they have all our trails, named out there on the mountain bike trails.
NEMBA, the New England Mountain Bike
Yeah.
Association does that.
How can they do that through private property?
Well,
How can you name aquifers on Cape Cod?
they think it's public property. But there are names, like if you go over at the Mashpee River Trails, those are all named by NEMBA.
Yeah.
They've created some of them.
I went on their website, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Thankfully, that's not.
Yeah,
Is one of them called the Horsley Trail?
what's that? Yeah.
All right,
So that finishes my report.
okay, on old business, the conservation,
One question on that, while we're on we track any new irrigation wells, Jen? Are you still tracking that?
I am still tracking it. And yes, there are new. I actually just talked to somebody the other day on Main Street who's putting one in.
That would be
You didn't
interesting to
count?
kind of keep a little, if we could maybe add something in here, a note on. How many, I can't remember, we've got quite a few now, right? Just to update.
It's
it.
around 120, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. Thank you.
I think when I did the little map, it was about 82.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
And how do you find out about it? How do you find out about it again?
Mostly through conversation.
people call you.
Yeah, a lot of people will call and ask for like, who do I call?
So
Who's-
you kept their addresses and whatnot?
Sometimes
So-
the well companies will call for a mock out to
Yeah.
say this is what they're gonna
Right.
put in.
There's a
But
field
you
in the
can-
database that I've.
So we got
used to
120
track
now. How many properties
think-
total we serve water to? What's our,
2,332.
There is
I
a,
think.
So we're
you're
at
supposed to
5%.
pull a permit
that's pretty
to put a
good.
well in. You have to pull a permit to put a well in, and if you go to a town of Barnstable, they have every permit that they have written.
Yeah,
But it's a long, I stood there for about 4 hours one time going through each one of them to find out what was in Kituitt, what
Yeah.
wasn't. And that's how we started getting the
Yeah.
original
Well,
list.
that's the
there.
list you gave me that I mapped. right?
Yeah,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for keeping track of
Yeah.
it. Because just,
Do you ever see that?
Well, I have a question. Do we know if there are any drinking water wells in Katuitt?
yes, there are a few still left.
and they do not have connections to our system
Most of them do not,
by a choice or they can't get there.
some of them are choice, some of them are just because we don't have water there, like, there's still someone on Vineyard Road that never hooked up. I actually had one lady come to me and say, my well's going, I need a new, water service. I said, great, I went down and gave her a price, she said, this is ridiculous, I'm
gonna
fixing
dig
my
a new
well.
My old house was on a well.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have free water, why am I gonna?
Yeah,
And I would have been serviced by Calm at my old house, even though it was in Katuitt.
yeah, so there are some, there's like one down on Rushy Marsh that has, there's no water main out in front. They'd have to get easement through people's yard to get water to them. They've talked about doing it in the past.
We have a folder with them.
Yeah, and it's slowly been going down, most. The houses that were like, there used to be one on Papaneset Road, there used to be one on Santuit Road that didn't have them, and as the people are buying them or people are passing away, the new people that come in say, I don't wanna deal with a well.
Okay, under old business, we've got some movement on the conservation restriction. The attorney for the town, Tom LaRosa, has marked it up, sent it to our attorney, Mark Boudreau, and myself. The main thing he did was to strike out the Board of Water Commissioners as the signatories, as the grantee, and inserted instead the Prudential Committee. And his rationale was that's how the district vote was taken. I pointed out that the other conservation restrictions in our zone 2 were signed by the water commissioners. I said it would be nice to have us on there since it's 600 feet from our well. In talking with Boudreau, I said, I don't think this is something we need to fall on our sword on. Let's just get this thing done. The Prudential Committee can sign it. Unless you all feel strongly about it. Otherwise, the attorney for the town was basically saying that if you wanted the water commissioners to sign this accepting the conservation restriction, the district vote should have said that. And we would have to go back to the district vote, and that would be in 2027. Right, because we're too late for May. Or is the warrant closed yet?
Mm-mm,
No?
Monday.
Well, what do you think? Should we amend that article and is it worth it? I don't think so.
I defer to our in-house land conservation expert.
I mean, you do.
My guess is that Prudential won't want to open the floor to another vote on school property.
I think that's very wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the important thing is that the district is getting a conservation restriction on the playing fields that the town still owns, which is within as close as 600 feet to our well, number 3. And, it's taken so long to get the town's attention
Yeah,
paid to this thing that I think we should just do it their way. And be glad that we can eventually take this off our agenda. It's been 2 years that I've been trying to get this guy to respond, so.
Yeah.
And I do want the minutes to reflect that, town councilor Burdick, is the one who got it off the dime.
good.
Cause
Thank you,
I
Seth.
started copying them on my entreaties to the town attorney. Okay, source water production stuff.
Yeah, we had a Board of Health workshop, which quite a few people attended. And I think it went pretty well. Board of Health is still considering the regulation, which would require upgrades to these IA septic systems within 1,000 feet. I did have a
1,000
meeting
feet of what?
of the water, of the coastal water, and good question. I can't remember whether it includes from the wetland boundary or the actual water. I don't remember, but it's a draft regulation.
It's not really a groundwater thing.
Well, no, it's not. Although what I was gonna say is when we met with, when I met with the leadership group, including the town manager, the chair of the town council, they actually suggested, why don't we expand this to the entire watershed? So that would affect our groundwater, because our groundwater includes the watershed of the bay. So that's also under consideration. And frankly, wouldn't be a bad idea, in my opinion. So this discussion is ongoing. And I can't, there's other meetings coming up, which I can keep you posted on, but that's kind of where it stands right now.
Okay, thank you. I did meet with the Prudential Committee regarding the budget and these other items, including the dedicated account for the PFAS settlement money, and the sick time memo. When we mentioned the PFAS account, the treasurer said that he was setting that up.
Yeah, he said he established it.
He said he
It's
already
set
set it
now,
up.
yeah.
So that, as long as we can verify that the money's going into that dedicated account, that should be taken care of.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
On that account, are there restrictions on what those funds can be applied for? Do they have to be used for PFAS mitigation? Could we use it to offset PFAS testing?
Good question.
It,
Like,
I have Governor Healy's, I think I sent it to you, declaration on that.
right, okay.
And I believe it said can be used for future, PFAS, remediation. Or to that effect, yeah.
Well, if we had to do a water treatment plant, that could pay for 1% of it.
Basically, yeah. Well, we're talking about that night. Since, I gotta put that pen down, I keep snapping it, sorry. In light of some new information, I would like to bring something up and get you guys' opinion. I'll give you mine first. I think I highly under, budgeted for the water mains. I believe I need another $100,000 to do the entire project. It's a little larger than we thought it was, and prices are going up quite a bit. We have it set at 300 right now. Plus, I also have to pay the engineers for their services that are there. And that whole thing comes to around $450,000 right now. And I only have 4. So I would either have to split the project up into over 2 years and see if I have to get more money next year to do it, or I could ask for an extra 100,000 and get the whole thing done now. And would have to vote on that tonight and get it to either the friendship committee or somebody before Monday. Monday, yeah,
You would need to get it to Ray,
To
and then
Ray.
they close the warrant on Monday.
yeah.
If I may.
How many feet are we doing here?
What's that? How many feet?
How many feet for 450?
It's just under 1,500.
So it's twice as long as Coolidge, Lewis Pond that you did,
Yes, it is part of Roosevelt Ave and Truman Lane.
where they've had that issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I was,
The capital budget shows 500,000 FY
That's new.
Highlighted it.
She just put that in today, that that's what it would look like.
So that
if we
could
changed.
raise that.
So we're going out with a warrant article as it stands now for 300, but we're for four, but we need five.
Correct.
Okay.
Take a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that, we increase, the warrant article, request for water main replacements from $400,000 to $500,000.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded to increase the budget for water main replacements for FY 27 to 500,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous.
Thank you. I apologize that it wasn't a more accurate figure.
These things happen.
Well, that's not-
At least they cut it.
The sick time memo was a very convoluted conversation. And I frankly don't know how to explain it. I'm gonna refer you to a recording. If you really wanna know. I think we explained the position. I think they accepted the explanation. I guess there's still some question about whether we have the authority to do this on our own, or if we have to have it blessed by the Prudential Committee. What do you think?
Yes, that question was raised. That question may be in their minds, however, the bylaws are clear that, we have authority over the policies, and management of the water department. Prudential Committee has the power to recommend or not recommend.
Mhm.
To the voters.
To the voters,
Right.
our salary, recommendations at each, for each fiscal year. I think that's fairly clear. I think there was a question as to whether they have the authority to review our employee policies. And bless them. That would be something I think that would go to district council.
We haven't heard back from them officially and formally. Just
Yeah, Ray was bringing up different ways to put a fund together, and if it would have to take a 2/3 vote or, and all this to take the money out of it, and are we falling into this and that? And he was just falling into a wormhole, what do we want to call it, and it got everybody's head spinning. And I think we agreed afterwards that our meter reading, I mean, we have funds now that he does that is just ready, for something like that. I think it was the PFAS dollars even, or something to that effect. If you can write something down, and I believe the attorney Pierce put down what he has to, what Billy has to file to do it.
It's a special reserve fund, just
Yeah.
like our USDA fund is.
Correct.
It's funded as part of the budget. And once they fund it initially, all they have to do year after year is adjust it based on the current accrued unused paid time off.
Correct.
But there's nothing that we need to insert for this warrant. It's more internal stuff, administrative stuff.
I think so, if it's the same way the USDA account is set up, I think it's something that can be done
It
internally.
seemed like he set up the PFAS account without having to go to the district. So
Exactly. Yeah. A
Should be-
2/3 vote is only required if we're borrowing.
It's required, I think, on the stabilization fund too. Like we had to have a 2/3 vote to set it up and a 2/3 vote to spend from it,
Yeah,
but that's the stabilization fund.
That's a different fund,
This is
yeah.
a special reserve fund.
correct.
Okay,
all right,
I will call Ray tomorrow and tell him that we've raised it to 502 and everything.
Thanks.
so under new business, we have the district meetings coming up in middle and end of May. We have a budget candidates night. We're putting up Commissioner Horsley to be a candidate. Gonna be able to appear.
No.
Oh, no, sure,
It's
sure, right.
Dave.
Dave, I didn't tell you this, but I'm running against you.
It's,
Like, we're what?
I apologize. Commissioner Churbuck, we're standing him up. You got all your.
My
your
signatures were filed and approved, and I think I hit my deadlines.
Yep, they were submitted to the new clerk.
Great, well, we appreciate your participation here, hope you'll be reelected.
Yeah.
Who's gonna review the budget that night? Would that be you, Mark?
I will do that. And we have the voting on the candidates, that's here in Freedom Hall on May 26th, typically in the afternoon only,
4 to 8.
4 to 8. And then the district meeting will be held where?
I'll be at the church, was last time.
Why?
It was still up for discussion at their last meeting.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think they've settled on it yet.
Yes, they've settled on it. It's at
Oh,
Hamilton, yeah, it's at Hamilton Hall, on that day. They got approval from the church. Sorry, this is Carol.
Thank you.
Carol. So that'll be on May 27th at 7 o'clock,
Yes.
7 p.m. And appreciate the commissioners being in attendance for that.
Are we suspending our May meeting?
We typically do, don't we?
Yes.
Because we haven't. I don't see any reason not to suspend it. We have nothing urgent that I know of.
Right.
So let's not come up with a date for May for the water commissioners to have their regular meeting. And then the third Wednesday in June would be
The 17th.
the 17th. So is that okay?
Yeah. So,
All right, so
Ooh.
17th June.
hold on. Ooh. I believe I'm going to be in Scotland
Oh,
Oh,
all right.
that week.
What about the 24th?
Yeah.
So we do the 24th? Okay. And we have minutes from March 18th to be approved.
I will move approval. I read them as is.
We'll move to second to approve the meeting minutes for March 18th, 2026. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, is there any more public comment? Nobody in the room here. Is anybody on Zoom?
Yeah, it's me again. I just would like to really first thank you guys for everything you do. This is great. But to encourage you to submit more information through our new digital currents. It's not as dramatic of a deadline. Obviously, we still have to have a deadline, but you could submit stuff from tonight's meeting if something was there that you wanted to go in the May currents, because we're going to be usually releasing it the last Monday of a month. So please, I encourage you to get more information out to the community, whether
I
it
have
be trivial or PFAS or whatever. That'd be great.
Carol, I have a quick idea. What if we asked Jen to maybe, and I can willing to help with this, just a little blurb about irrigation well updates, because it is becoming irrigation season. Just to remind people that we do have a regulation and we view this as a maybe unnecessary demand. And it would be worth communicating that we have X number of wells that have been installed. And maybe I can offer to work with Jen on a brief paragraph. Would that be appropriate?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a way beyond your mailings that you can reach out to the Katuitt Village community to update them on anything, related to water that you want to talk about. besides, if you want to start listing the PFAS levels every time, or other levels that you do, or,
I think we gotta be careful with that one, just because that can get misconstrued pretty easily. And I
Understand.
think, but I think maybe the commissioners agree or disagree, a little notice on the irrigation, I think is appropriate.
Well, we could also talk about, that we expect to do some water main replacements in the next 18 months. Where is it gonna be? And it's gonna be in the presidential.
So can we ask Chris to provide a blurb on that?
Yeah.
What did I just submit? Didn't I just submit one on that? The water main replacement, the age of the water main, yeah,
But not the specific project.
not the specific project, just kind of a heads up.
That would be more after it got voted in or not in,
Yeah.
ADM, so that could be for June. And May is kind of done. I think what you have in there is good, but, I'm just reminding you that you have this tool. We have this tool now, and because we've gone digital, you used to be like a month after your meetings. Now we can be more current from your meetings if there's something that you really want to reach out to the village, because it could get submitted the next day and still be within the deadline.
How many subscriptions do you have, Kurt,
We send out emails to over 800 people.
That's great.
Yeah. And
Carol,
growing.
the procedure for doing this, is we submit something online, like a written paragraph. Is that-
Email it to
Do you know how to do it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the other suggestion.
Katuoccurrence@gmail.com.
One other suggestion, Mr. Chairman, what if we put this on our agenda as a regular item, just to remind us, do we want to submit something? Because it seems like, just prompting us like Carol's doing right now, we might have things that are worthy to communicate. I think.
Yeah, it would remind us to think about it.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
On maybe, I don't know where that goes, on old business or new business, but just to add an agenda item.
Will do.
Thank you, Carol.
Sure, well, thank you.
And we like to compliment you too on the great work you do.
Well, we try hard. And there's a new president, Lisa Vassiloff, if you didn't read that in last month's digital currents. So I'm back to just being a board member, which is lovely.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this meeting to a close. Is there a motion to adjourn? And
We adjourn.
what time is it?
6:37.
6:37.
That's gotta get out of
It's
here.
been moved. Is there a second?
Think about it.
Second, come on.
Okay, a second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting at 6:37, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll see you at the district meeting.